Thank you kindly for joining us. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love CVille Show. It's an absolute pleasure to connect with you guys through the I Love CVille Network. We are live on every social platform known to mankind. Folks, a lot to cover on today's show. On a chilly Monday, a shortened week, Thanksgiving week, one of my favorite times of year, a time to fatten up, a time to revel, and a time to be grateful for all we have been blessed with. Jerry Miller and Judah Wickower. Judah's the director of this fine and fair talk show, where our audience is Charlottesville, Albemarle County, Central Virginia, Commonwealth Country, Norway, and worldwide. Judah, you got that two-shot ready to go? I'd love to weave you in the mix early upon this program. Give me a thumbs up when you're on air. And viewers and listeners, chime in with comments, chime in with perspective, ask us questions. We adapt the talk show to you, and we will answer questions if we can, and if we cannot, we will ask folks that are watching the program to help us answer them. Today on the show, we'll talk building permits, Albemarle County and Charlottesville City. We'll compare them and contrast them to Richmond. Thanks to a friend of the show, Neil Williamson, who put this on our radar this morning. Neil, the president of the Free Enterprise Forum, who penned a fantastic analysis, yet again, Neil Williamson, on his Free Enterprise Forum website, will highlight some of those fantastic talking points today on this fair and fine show. First, I want to say hello, J-Dubs. How are you, my friend?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Good weekend?
Yeah.
I thought of you this weekend, and this is a talking point of the show. We're jumping to it a bit early. We had a birthday party. My son, who's in our son, who's in preschool, was invited to a birthday party at Decades Arcade, Belmont, kind of in that Belmont shopping center, the Cathy shopping center, right a few doors down or across the parking lot from Belmont Pizza.
Right.
Decades Arcade was the first part of the birthday party, and then we walked kind of across the parking lot to Belmont Pizza for some pie and some cheese sticks and some wings and some beers for the parents, and it was just a fantastic time. Nice. Have you had a chance to experience Decades Arcade yet?
I haven't been in an arcade in, well, aptly enough, probably decades.
Very well said right there, Judah. I thought of you. I know you enjoy arcade games, video games. They were the ones. So the whole concept of Decades Arcade is they organize the games by decade.
Okay.
So you got various decades grouped together.
Yeah.
We played skee ball. We played hockey, where you have the sticks and you move them around to control the guys. We played the snowmobile game, when you're on kind of like a snowmobile and you're kind of like trying to balance and you're weaving your way through various courses. We played a shoot 'em up game, which I was a little worried about with our 4.5-year-old, but that was his favorite one, where he was shooting zombies and aliens. Decades Arcade. Is this me here?
Yeah.
This one here? Cool. Decades Arcade is moving to the downtown mall.
Wow.
They will have a temporary closing in Belmont before they move to the downtown mall. They'll move to the pavilion side of the mall. You and I both know the pavilion side of the mall needs what?
It just needs draws.
Yeah. Besides music and boozing, right? And restaurants.
Infrequent.
Yeah. I was curious, how do you think it will do there on the mall? I think it'll do great. What's your take?
I think it'll do well. I don't know what kind of traffic it gets where it is, but I think there are enough younger people coming to the downtown mall that it should see some definite foot traffic.
I think Decades Arcade is going to be a fantastic addition to the mall because it offers mall goers an opportunity to do things that are not tied to eating, drinking, and live music. I also was very impressed with Decades Arcade as it had this an array of customers. My 4.5-year-old and his friends from preschool that were at this birthday party, they loved it. This was my son's first time playing video games in a lot of ways. And I was very shocked of how instinctual or intuitive playing arcade games were for a 4.5-year-old. He knew right away what to do.
Yeah, well, they've got. I mean, we've been acclimating our kids to that mindset through iPads and iPhones, and it's all just manual dexterity and spatial awareness.
Yeah, so I'm impressed. I think it's going to be a great addition to the mall. It's going to be in the pavilion side. Yes, they had Pac-Man, Gwendolyn, Gail Cassidy, multiple versions of Pac-Man, Gwendolyn, who's watching in Norway. They had Frogger, a lot of old school fun, and I also agree it's going to draw a younger crowd. I think that the mall needs to draw people that don't have deep pockets, and I'm talking money. And much of downtown Charlottesville now, having wealth is very much a key describer of the customer base. If you look downtown, you see a homogeneous clientele. I will cut to the chase. You look on the downtown mall, you're seeing mainly white people on the mall. Okay. In fact, a recent survey that was done by Charlottesville indicated and justified that statement, where it was roughly 80% plus of mall goers met that social economic demographic, wealthier and white. Technically, the downtown mall is a public park. A lot of folks don't know this. The downtown mall, by definition, is a public park. But much of the mall is $8 and up alcoholic beverages, $16 and up.
Is that all that shocking in today? $8. I mean, even beers. You're not going to get too far. You're not going to get too many places in Charlottesville where you find a beer for less than $6 or $7.
Yeah, that's fair.
$8 is probably closer to the norm.
I mean, I'll put this in perspective. My family and I, my wife, my son, myself, my mother-in-law, and my father-in-law, we went to Riverside lunch on Sunday afternoon to watch the UVA men's basketball game.
Yeah.
I got a bacon cheeseburger. My father-in-law got a double bacon cheeseburger. My mother-in-law got a bacon cheeseburger. My wife got a cheeseburger. I had 2 full Nelsons.
Yeah.
My father-in-law had 2 Ghosts. My wife is pregnant. She otherwise would have had 2 Ghosts, the 3-notch beer. Instead, she had Diet Coke. My mother-in-law had 2 Bold Rock IPA ciders. My son had a milk.
Yeah.
We got the fried cheese, the spicy fried cheese, the cheese balls. They're dynamite. If you've not had Riverside's spicy fried cheese balls, you're missing one of my favorite appetizers in town. We had chicken wings as an appetizer. We had a basket of fries. We had a basket of onion rings. And the tab after tip, and I tip generously, was like early $90. I found that extremely affordable.
Yeah, I mean,
for what we had.
Diner-style places often have the economy of scale that they can keep the prices low.
$8 and under for everything.
Riverside certainly holds true to that.
If I went and had a similar order on the downtown mall, how much would that be? 2 or 3x that?
I mean, just looking at the beer prices.
Are you looking at Citizen Burger Bar? I would say the best comparison would be...
No, I'm looking at the Riverside.
Okay, you look at Riverside, and I'll look at Citizen Burger Bar. I love Citizen Burger Bar. In fact, Judah and I and our team designed the Citizen Burger Bar logo some years ago. We designed and developed that logo, Citizen Burger Bar. You look at the Riverside prices, I'll look at the Citizen prices. Both Citizen and Riverside are dynamite restaurants. But this puts in perspective the differences, the delta difference in price. You go Riverside first.
I mean, am I tallying up everything that you got? I mean, you got a double cheeseburger, triple
My
cheeseburger?
father-in-law got a double bacon cheeseburger.
Double bacon. So that's probably
That's the most expensive item.
Yeah, just about. That's $7, and that's still probably cheaper than most of the burgers you're going to get at Citizen.
That was the most expensive item we ordered, was a double bacon cheeseburger, my father-in-law.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a bacon cheeseburger, which was what?
A single?
Yeah.
What?
I got a single.
What's wrong with you?
We had onion rings, fries,
Bacon cheese.
cheese
The single
balls,
is $5.
and chicken wings before that. How much is a single?
$5.
I mean, the single patty bacon cheeseburger at Riverside is probably priced lower than a Big Mac at McDonald's,
Yeah.
sandwich-wise.
Yeah, probably.
And it's way better.
Oh, yeah.
It is not even comparable.
Riverside is probably my favorite local burger spot in Charlottesville.
It's damn good. The steakhouse burger at Citizen Burger Bar, to put it in perspective, what I order at Citizen Burger Bar is the steakhouse burger. How much do you think the steakhouse burger runs these days?
I'm gonna say 14.
$17. $17. How much do you think just an American classic burger runs?
I'll go 14 on that.
15.
15.
So my wife, she got, let's see, if we got a bacon cheeseburger, let's say that's essentially the steakhouse burger. So we got essentially 4 steakhouse burgers. My son also got chicken tenders, applesauce, and a milk at Riverside. So 4 steakhouse burgers at Citizen, 17 times 4, $68 in burgers alone. Appetizers, the onion rings are $9. We got those. Citizen fry bowl, $8. Okay? We're at $85 alone without drinks. We got wings. Remember, we got wings. Citizen doesn't have wings, so I'll add the peppers. I'll add the peppers for Citizen. That's 12, another 12. I'm at 97 before drinks. And remember, we got the cheese balls too. So I'll add fried pickles for Citizen. That's 9. So I'm at $106 at Citizen, and that does not include the beers.
Yeah.
The beers would be, or the soda or milk for my son. So I would say the beers probably there are $8 a pop, right? Roundabout?
Yeah, depending on what you got, they're probably 7 or 8.
Okay, so we each had 2. So that's 16 for me, 16 for my father-in-law, 16 for my mother-in-law. Then my son had a kid's meal. We'll call the kid's meal, the milk, and the applesauce for my son, all that together 15. So that's $169 at Citizen.
It's before tip.
Before tip. I tip 20%. So let's call that an additional $33. That same meal, I'm putting this in perspective for the viewers and listeners. Mm-hmm. All the food we got at Riverside, and we love Citizen Burger Bar. We love Andy McClure. We love the food. It just shows you the difference between overhead, downtown, versus how far is Riverside lunch from the downtown mall? 4 blocks? No, it's probably more than 4 blocks. It's less than a mile.
Yeah.
Downtown mall to Riverside, what would you say is 3/4 of a mile? We can do roundabout. You don't have to look it up. You want to look it up? All right, Judah wants to be exact. All right, I would say it's roughly 3/4 of a mile. There's no way Citizen Burger Bar to Riverside is a mile. I'll call it 3/4 of a mile. So to put this in perspective, everything we got at Riverside after tip was like $92. Everything we would have gotten at Citizen Burger Bar, basically the same stuff, was over $200. We're talking more than 2x the cost on the downtown mall. And ladies and gentlemen, Citizen Burger Bar and Jack Brown's are your entry points on the downtown mall for dinner. I'm not talking lunch where you can weave in a revolutionary soup. I'm not talking lunch where you can weave in a Bagby's or a what's the spot? Blue Ridge with the salad bar. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on this.
The
salad bar right next to Bagby's.
Blue Ridge Market?
No. The salad bar right next to Bagby's. They used to sell our shirts.
Yeah, Blue Ridge Market.
No, it's not called Blue Ridge Market. Viewers and listeners, can you put that in the feed? I'm having a brain fart over here. Blue Ridge Country Store.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Blue Ridge Country Store. Those places aren't open on the downtown for dinner.
Right.
So your entry point in downtown Charlottesville, if you're a wife, a husband, have a 4.5-year-old, and your mother-in-law and father-in-law are visiting you, is over $200. Over $200. You each have 2 drinks. I had 2 full Nelsons. My father-in-law had 2 Ghosts. My mother-in-law had 2 ciders. My wife had a Diet Coke. She's pregnant. She's due tomorrow. My son had a milk. It was over $200 on the downtown mall. And that's the entry point, Judah.
Yep.
How far is Citizen Burger Bar from Riverside?
1.1 miles.
It's over a 1?
Part of it is going like this.
Is that walking or driving?
I mean, that's going by road.
Interesting.
I would guess as the crow flies, it's just under a mile.
Okay. All right. 1.1. Thank you. But you see my point? You have a difference in area of a mile.
Mm-hmm.
And that difference in area of 1 mile means the bill goes from over $200 to under $100.
Yeah.
That's astronomical. And that's the entry point in downtown. So I'm going to ask the viewers and listeners this question. Here's the question. A, is the downtown mall so expensive that it's priced out the middle class and under? Lower class, upper lower class, middle class, upper middle class. Is that priced out from a regular consumer? A lot of people are going to be hesitant to spend over $200 for a Sunday evening meal at a burger joint.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, definitely. Especially when you've got places like Riverside and Five Guys.
Riverside can do it in the $92 range. And I'm not throwing shade on anyone. And I'm not throwing shade on anyone. I'm just talking out loud here. Has the downtown of Charlottesville, Virginia, become so bougie and so cost prohibitive that you have to be a young professional or a deep-pocketed family to routinely enjoy libations and fare on the 8 blocks that are the crown jewel of our city? And has that expensive nature, has the fact that downtown has such high overheads associated with rent, labor, is that driving the middle class and under from the crown jewel of Charlottesville, the 8 blocks? And is it also the antithesis of what this pedestrian mall is supposed to stand for, a public park? It's a public park by definition. And what can be done about this? I mean, what can truly be done about this when just a few landlords own much of downtown Charlottesville? Hunter Craig, the Lewis family, Joe Geek, Alan Kajin, Mark Brown, Ludwig Kutner, mentor of this show, Bill Nitchman. These are the owners of downtown Charlottesville. When you see this with the UVA corner, when a small group of people own such a very important aspect of the community, the corner, the downtown mall, rents in a lot of ways stay the same and increase at the same price points year over year. They're all competitive with each other. They all go up each year. They all stay relatively the same. You saw what happened on the UVA corner as big box brands are penetrating one of the second most important areas of the city, the UVA corner. Chipotle, Raising Cane's, Qdoba, Starbucks. Is that potentially a concern for downtown Charlottesville as rents escalate and as inflation escalates at a clip that is larger than salary or wage increases? How many families can afford $200 plus meals at a burger shop? Should we be worried about this? And the reason I bring this to your attention is the experience I had at Decades Arcade. Decades Arcade, you pay a flat fee. And fortunately, the hosts of this birthday party covered the costs for my son and myself to enjoy Decades Arcade. But in doing a little research, after having such a good time, I mean, they had machines from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, Judah, all the way to the present. After doing a little bit of research, I found this out, the pricing model. I really think you would love this place. For children, $4. For children aged 4 to an adult, the cost is $12 to get in. And for that $12, you can play unlimited amount of games. They give you a wrist bracelet.
Yeah.
You go in and you have fun.
Nice.
You can stay for hours.
Yeah.
Children 3 and under are free. A private event is $300 for 2 hours for up to 50 people. That's a hell of a birthday party.
Yeah.
$300, go play some video games with your friends?
Mm-hmm.
Here's my point. Decades Arcade coming to the downtown mall. I hope, fingers crossed, toes crossed, arms crossed, will offer a price point for the Charlottesvillian and Central Virginian that unfortunately is not there right now. That price point, in particular on the weekends, in particular on the evenings, does not exist. What can you do for $12 on the downtown mall?
Get a couple slices of pizza.
You can get 2 slices of pizza at Christian's or at Vita Nova. For $12, you can have a beer and a half.
Yeah.
Not even 2 beers. You can have a beer and a half.
Maybe when what's it called comes back. Pour your own beer.
Draft Tap Room.
Yeah.
Draft Tap Room, 1 cheap. They got craft beer in there, 1 cheap. Now, to your credit, they have different sized beers, so you can get some of these smaller cups to keep you under that $12 clip.
Yeah.
It just goes to an overall thesis of the network that if we're not careful, Charlottesville is now Greenwich, Connecticut. It's now San Francisco, California. And as we highlighted on Friday's show, I thought was awesome, Austin, Texas. A playground of wealthy young professionals that have the deep pockets to afford what the town has to offer. And as these young professionals flock to the area, they drive up the cost of living and increase it and increase it and increase it till it becomes undoubtedly a homogenous, wealthy community of tech bros, financiers, developers, bankers, attorneys. Anywho, Decades Arcade, fantastic experience. All right, a couple of other topics I want to get to. If you want to go to a one-shot, then we'll weave you back in. Mike Hollins was released from hospital the UVA running back that was shot 2 Sundays ago in a heroic effort of trying to rescue people off that bus as a mass murderer was opening fire. Mike Hollins released from the hospital. His mother earlier today, published a tweet on Twitter saying, "Mike has been discharged. Hallelujah. I want to thank everyone for their prayers, their text messages and calls. This has truly been a test of faith, and I'm grateful. God has shown me he is faithful. Please continue praying for Mike as he recovers and settles into his new life. Please continue praying for the Chandler, Davis, Perry families. They need us. God is amazing." Mike Hollins was shot in the back. He needed 2 surgeries last week in a heroic attempt to rescue people on a bus in the midst of a mass shooter. John and Chad, Kevin, I'll get to your comments here. Todd, I'll get to your comments. Andre, I'll get to your comments. Scott, I'll get to your comments. A lot of comments coming in here. Still, we have no motive. There is no motive for why the alleged murderer was motivated to do these senseless acts of violence. No motives. As we indicated Friday, the University of Virginia has reached out to the Attorney General. The Attorney General has said over the weekend that he will appoint someone to look into how the University of Virginia has managed and handled this unfortunate set of circumstances from start to finish. I think we will see a number of methodology changes as to processes, in particular when it comes to the University of Virginia doing better a job of investigating its students when it comes to convictions off grounds. The fact that UVA didn't know the man had a gun conviction until September of this year, when that gun conviction happened in 2021, is pause for concern. We may never know, and Jim Ryan highlighted this in the memorial service from over the weekend on Saturday. We may never know what motivated the alleged killer to go on this shooting spree. We may never know. The motive and figuring what the motive out in some ways, I think, could offer some closure to a lot of us. Like, what drove this man to kill 3 student athletes? What drove or motivated him to do this? We may never know that. Still, I'm a God-fearing man. I thank the Lord that Mike Hollins has been discharged from the hospital and is able to walk. His father says Mike Hollins will make a push to play football again. I will follow closely the alleged murderer if a change of venue motion happens. Scott Aaronworth brought that to our attention. I can't see how a jury in this area would be able to not have tainted perspective. I was proud of the University of Virginia men's basketball team on Friday and on Sunday in their efforts against Baylor and Illinois on national television. UVA men's basketball won both ball games, and it looks like a national championship contender. You give Tony Bennett his top 6 returning starters, and all 6 are back. And then you add a talented transfer to the team that can post up and rebound and stroke from downtown. And then you add a talented recruiting class, one of Tony's best ever recruiting classes. And you have a team that is deep, that is athletic, that is committed to defense, and maybe most importantly, a team that can shoot the ball. For so long, UVA's Achilles heel has been shooting the rock. They would go stretches, in particular last year, of not being able to throw the ball into the ocean. This year, there are shooters all over the team. Franklin looks like a completely different player right now. Reese Beekman is arguably the best player on the team, and he looks like an NBA point guard to me. Kie Clark is not having to put the entire team on his shoulders and create plays for this offense. He has a lot less pressure on his shoulders. And to have 2 point guards in Beekman and Clark on your team and other capable ball handlers and strong free throw shooters, this team, and I hate to put the cart before the horse, but this team looks like a Final Four team. And there's a lot of basketball left to be played. But let's put winning these ball games to the side. How proud were you? How proud were you to watch Tony Bennett and UVA men's basketball honor Perry, Davis, and Chandler? I was so proud. So proud. And on national TV to boot. How proud were you to see Liberty and its band on Saturday play the Good Old Song? I was so proud. How proud were you to watch our arch nemesis, Virginia Tech, honor the fallen victims from the University of Virginia? I was so proud to see the National Football League bring up the UVA shootings during NFL football games. I was so proud. It just shows you that the University of Virginia brand and its network is undoubtedly a global brand with global equity, global reach, global love. I was proud to live in Charlottesville, proud to have attended the University of Virginia, and proud to be a Wahoo fan. And that memorial service on Saturday, man, you talk about emotion. Palpable, raw emotion. And it's so hard as my wife and I are looking to welcome our second son into this world. Literally could be due right now. I mean, my wife is due tomorrow. I'm just waiting for the message on my watch, my phone, to say, Jerry, it's go time. Come meet me at the hospital. As we welcome life into this world, it puts in perspective the loss of life out of this world. Proud to be a Wahoo. All right, a couple other items out of the notebook, folks. Neil Williamson put this on my radar today. He's the president of the Free Enterprise Forum. I would encourage you guys to check out the Free Enterprise Forum. Do it now if you could. On his homepage with the Free Enterprise Forum, there's an article published today, a story published today, and the headline is Fix Delays to Promote Economic Vitality. And I'm going to read some things to you that should really make you worry. And this is where elections matter. And there's 3 spots on the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors that are up for election. 3. The Scottsville District, which is my district. Scottsville District, my district. The Whitehall District and the Rivanna District. 3 spots. Albemarle County is so behind on building permits. Basic building permits are taking 90 days to approve. 90 days for building permits. Charlottesville site plan reviews, as Neil Williamson wrote, regularly require multiple submissions, each submission taking roughly 3 weeks. And they often include 100 plus new comments per iteration. If you are a builder, why would you, in the current state of Albemarle County and Charlottesville City's red tape drowning political bureaucratic quicksand, why would you try to bring anything new construction to market when a simple building permit takes 90 days and Charlottesville site plan reviews take potentially even longer? 90 days for a building permit. It could be a completely different market in 90 days. We have seen that this year. And the first half of Q2 2022, the market was red hot. Interest rates were low, and people were paying over list price in Charlottesville and Albemarle County for cribs. 90 days later is the summer, midsummer, late summer. And in midsummer, late summer, interest rates started skyrocketing, and interest in whips and cribs and houses and abodes and casas dropped even lower. When you're a small builder or a developer and you are assuming debt from a bank or hard money lenders, and that debt from a bank or hard money lenders is tied to prime, and your interest rates are rising, so your debt service payment is becoming more expensive, and you know that you're going to have to wait 90 days or longer for simple building permits, why would you construct anything new in these jurisdictions? Would you not head for jurisdictions that are much more advantageous to the building process? Of course you would. Now, Neil Williamson highlights an article in the Richmond Times-Dispatch. This article was very well summarized in Richmond BizSense as well. And in this particular locality, Richmond, Virginia, and this is on Free Enterprise Forum, Richmond's planning officials have slashed sometimes months-long delays in granting permits, city records show. Permits that sometimes languished in queues awaiting processing for 50 to 55 days at the start of 2022 have been rolling out after an average wait of 1 to 3 days since the summer. You hear that? From 50 to 55 days to 1 to 3 days. Delays for residential and commercial building permits fell below 5 days in April and have stayed about that same rate since July, Department of Planning and Development data shows. Permits for mechanical, plumbing, and electrical work dropped from 50 days to 20 to 25 days by spring and 1 to 3 days from August on. One of the ways that Richmond has solved this problem is contracting with third parties. They've hired more people, 71 new employees since July of 2021, and they're utilizing third parties. Ladies and gentlemen, that's called the private sector. They're utilizing third parties, the private sector, to push building permits forward. Neil Williamson makes this point. The city of Charlottesville is utilizing a hired gun, a mercenary city manager, the private sector, to run its jurisdiction. And Michael Rogers of the Robert Bob Consulting Group has now had a contract extension through the end of 2023 next year to help council make it through budget season. If Charlottesville City is willing to utilize the private sector to run its jurisdiction, Why would Charlottesville City and its neighboring jurisdiction, Albemarle County, not consider the private sector third parties to help process building permits and navigate the bureaucratic red tape that is drowning, suffocating Charlottesville City and Albemarle County? This seems like straightforward common sense to me. And this is why local elections matter. And when the Scottsville District, the Rivanna District, and the Whitehall District come up for re-election in Albemarle County, and when Charlottesville City, 3 seats on council, Lloyd Snooks, Michael Payne, and Cena McGills, come up for re-election, I encourage you to vote candidates that have small business backgrounds, common sense approaches, and understand the concept of chopping down red tape, navigating bureaucratic quicksand, and throwing a lifeline to small business owners to help them bring new projects to market, because that stimulates economic vitality. And economic vitality is paramount at a time of recession. That's what we're in now. We're in a crap storm. And if you want to make it through a crap storm, you figure out optimized approaches to navigate difficulties. What does that mean? You want me to cut to the chase? You stimulate the economy by helping business owners do what they do, which is create business opportunities for those that work for them. And then the money that comes from these opportunities gets invested in the community, and then the community finds its way out of a recession. That's what I mean. Hell of a job by Neil Williamson. The 2023 election, we are now a year away from it, is monumentally important. Monumentally important. And it's become even more monumentally important because of the economic headwinds that are swirling Central Virginia. All right, next topic. Black Cow Chophouse, a new restaurant, is opening in the old Little Star spot. The owner of the restaurant is Daniel Kaufman, a friend of the program. He texted me on Sunday morning and said, "Jerry, I'm opening a restaurant. Here's the logo." I said, "Daniel, this is awesome. Tell me about it." He said, "Well, I'm going to open it with Greg Dion, my former chef at Public. It's going to be called Black Cow Chophouse. Check the I Love CVille Instagram. Follow the I Love CVille Instagram. We create so much awesome content for you guys all over social media. I encourage you to follow I Love CVille on all our social platforms. Black Cow Chophouse, and Daniel Kaufman's words. Here's the description. The focus of Black Cow Chophouse is a daily selection of local and nationally sourced steaks and chops, fish, seafood, and classic steakhouse dishes. We will offer a killer happy hour in the spirit of Public and a comprehensive beverage program with an emphasis on our bourbon and wine selection. The front foyer will be our cocktail lounge for casual dinners and weekend late-night drinks. The goal is to open February of 2023, which is just a few months away. Daniel Kaufman and Greg Dion will be on the show in the next few weeks. I love Daniel. I'm excited for this. The Little Star spot closed unexpectedly after a 6-figure investment into rehabbing the space. Daniel Kaufman is a Public Fish and Oyster, I believe, is the exact brand. Is that right?
Sounds right.
Is an established brand. Public's happy hour is one of the best in the area by far. Public is located across the street from where Black Cow Chophouse will open. So Daniel will have the proximity of one restaurant across the street from the other to help deliveries and management and drive interest. That's an aspect of vertical integration. Daniel also owns a bottle shop right in that vicinity. Daniel Kaufman is becoming the mayor of Midtown. He will now have 3 businesses within spitting distance of each other. Daniel Kaufman has become the mayor of Midtown. Someone tag Daniel Kaufman. Daniel, are you watching now? Please let us know. Someone tag Daniel Kaufman. Let us know. Let him know we're giving him props. He has become the mayor of Midtown. I respect any business owner or any entrepreneur that's willing to launch a business. I certainly respect any entrepreneur that's willing to launch a business in a recession. And I really respect any entrepreneur that's willing to launch a business in a recession that's a restaurant business. And that's what this dude is doing. And I want to emphasize this. Since the Downtown Grill closed, and since Prime 109 closed, the Midtown Downtown corridor is salivating for a steakhouse. The only steakhouse, true one, in the Charlottesville, Albemarle County corridor, Charlottesville, Albemarle County vicinity, is the Aberdeen Barn. I love the Aberdeen Barn. I love Angela. But I also know downtown Charlottesville and midtown Charlottesville is the crown jewel of the community. And having a steakhouse there is pretty crucial. And I'm sure Daniel Kaufman saw that because he's a smart dude. A true steakhouse, I think, could do well. And we'll certainly patronize it and support it and welcome the guys on the show at no charge to them. $0 charge to them. I got an Instagram message from friend of the program yesterday. And that Instagram message from friend of the program was from a talented chef. And his name is Dylan Allwood. Dylan Allwood Instagrammed me, DM'd me, and he said, "Jerry, I cannot wait to be part of the public team." Dylan, I'd love to hear from you, man. You're a damn good chef. He made his name at Tavola as the executive chef there. Dylan Allwood sent me a DM and he said, "Jerry, I'm going to be part of Daniel's team at Public." Thank you for letting me know that, Dylan Allwood. I love hearing from you guys in direct message capacities, emails, text messages, on the DL. I'm going to get to all your comments here in a matter of moments, including a comment from Anonymous. A comment from Anonymous about Neil Williamson's article. Neil Williamson, if you're still watching, the I Love CVille Network's version of Deep Throat has got a comment for you coming up very shortly. Someone make sure Neil Williamson is still watching. Tag Neil Williamson. Tag Neil Williamson. Get him in the mix. And let Neil Williamson know Deep Throat's about to offer him some knowledge. 2 other topics real quick. In fact, just one other topic, because I've talked UVA as a national championship contender and my personal experience from Decades Arcade. Your comments are coming up, so if you want your comment heard on air, put it in the feed now. The feeds are blowing up. Absolutely blowing up right now. Meriwether Lewis Elementary School. Let's talk about Meriwether Lewis Elementary School. If there's an elementary school that's the gold standard for Albemarle County, that elementary school is probably Meriwether Lewis Elementary. Families of means, financial, are sprinting to the Meriwether Lewis School District. That's the Ivy area. There's 2 elementary schools there. Murray and Meriwether Lewis. Both of them are phenomenal elementary schools. These 2 elementary schools, Murray and Meriwether Lewis, are so good that they are legitimately driving the value of real estate for Ivy, Virginia, into astronomical stratospheres from a cost standpoint. You have homes that are undoubtedly old. I'm talking homes that are decades, if not half a century or more old, that are trading at $1 million or more. And one of the main reasons they're trading for $1 million or more is the Meriwether Lewis Elementary School, Murray Elementary School, Henley Western Track. On top of that, they're in close proximity to UVA, the Bypass, and the city of Charlottesville, epicenters of employment and transportation. They're also in close proximity to the Boar's Head Resort, a fabulous club that a lot of people belong to that offers a ton of amenities. Meriwether Lewis Elementary currently is going through a survey, and this survey is asking parents whether the school should be rebranded. Do you know much about Meriwether Lewis, Judah? The man?
The man, no more than...
I'll read a few paragraphs about Meriwether Lewis, the man. An overwhelming majority of parents, an overwhelming majority of parents said, do not change the name. Do not change the name. An overwhelming majority, a dominant majority, do not change the name. Albemarle County Public Schools is doing a survey. They're asking the parents, the stakeholders, should we change the name? Should we rebrand? The parents said no in overwhelming fashion. Despite the results, overwhelming results, should we rebrand? The parents have spoken. They said no. What does Albemarle County Public Schools do? They continue the efforts of rebranding. Look, I'm going to ask you this question in straightforward fashion. If you're going to send survey results to parents and ask for their feedback in statistical, documented, tangible evidence capacities, and if that statistical, documented, tangible, evident capacity surveys come back to the school systems and it says, don't change the name, doesn't logic say you stop the effing process? Albemarle County Public Schools is not one of logic. They're continuing the process. They're continuing the rebranding efforts. They're continuing consideration of changing the name. Born August 18th, 1774, died October 11th, 1809. Meriwether Lewis, wow, I didn't realize he lived such little time, Judah. He was 35 years old when he died.
Damn.
Meriwether Lewis was an American explorer, soldier, politician, and public administrator. He's most known for his role as the leader of the Lewis and Clark expedition, where they explored the territory called the Louisiana Purchase. President Thomas Jefferson appointed Meriwether Lewis the governor of Upper Louisiana in 1806. He died of gunshot wounds in what was either a murder or suicide in 1809. While the Louisiana Purchase was not made official until 1803, President Jefferson secretly requested Congress to fund the expedition in early 1803. It was made official in July. He funded it in January. There's an aspect of his bio that perhaps is concerning. You got the allusions made to suicide, and then undoubtedly, don't take anything I say out of context, please, Socialist Charlottesville. I'm tired of you taking people out of context, Socialist Charlottesville. I'll read verbatim from the Wikipedia. Although Lewis attempted to supervise enslaved people while running his mother's plantation before the westward expedition, he left that post and had no valet during the expedition, unlike William Clark, who brought his slave York. Lewis made assignments to York but allowed Clark to supervise him. Lewis also granted York and Sacagawea votes during their expedition meetings. Later, Lewis hired a free African-American male as his valet. That man's name was John Pernia. Pernia accompanied Lewis during his final journey, although his wages were considerably in arrears. After Lewis's death, Pernia continued to Monticello and asked Jefferson to pay the $240 owed him, but was refused by Jefferson. Pernia later committed suicide. Today, when we woke up in eastern Albemarle County, it was 21 degrees. We watched children at a bus stop outside in 21-degree weather wait for a bus in the freezing cold. Kevin Higgins this morning sent us a screenshot of the bus situation in Greenwood. You were on that text chain, Judah. Kevin Higgins, Albemarle County sent a message to him, a father, saying that Western Henley Bus 179 will be 30 minutes late this morning. Temperatures are now in the high teens or early 20s on just about every morning. We're in winter, folks. Albemarle County Public Schools are sending surveys to parents asking about rebranding. The parents are telling the school system, do not rebrand the schools. Still, the school system is wasting time and money and effort, opportunity costs on rebranding efforts, as opposed to figuring out how to get kids to school on time in freezing cold temperatures. There are 4 spots that are up for grabs on the Albemarle County School Board. Those 4 spots in 2023 are the Scottsville District, the Rivanna District, the Whitehall District, and the at-large seat. Those 4 spots represent a majority of a 7-person board. I will say this again. The November 2023 election is one of the most important elections in Albemarle County has had a long time. 3 of 6 spots are up on the Board of Supervisors and 4 of 7 spots are up on the school board. If you've had enough of the BS, of the pomp and circumstance, of the piss-poor management and supervision from current local elected officials, you vote in less than a year and you reshape what the jurisdiction should look like. 3 spots on the board, 4 on the school board. When you leave for work in the morning, I want you to look at kids in temperatures that are 18, 19, or 20 degrees, waiting for an hour plus for a school bus to arrive because of piss-poor management from the school board. And when you're looking around and you're seeing pricing on housing stock going through the roof, and when you get your tax bill and you pay it in early December, your real estate tax bill, and you're like, good God, this is costing me so much money that I don't have right now, you look at the people that you elected into office or you didn't vote for, and you say it's time for new candidates and it's time to vote new people onto the Board of Supervisors and into the school board, because these people are determining the future of the jurisdiction. They're determining your taxes and whether or not your kids are standing in the freezing cold waiting for a tin can to get them to school on time. I'll get to some comments. Got a lot of text messages coming in. Responding to the now. All right. Yes, I did watch the memorial service, Scott. Very emotional. And I hope Black Cow opens before you get there in February as well. Kevin Yancey, Waynesboro, says, I think having to pay to park downtown is one of the turnoffs for downtown Charlottesville, plus $12 ice cream cones. That $12 ice cream cone is a jab at Joe Biden. Andre Xavier is telling folks to try Patch Brewing Company, a $6 special on a burger. He also highlights Wegmans as a grocery store as an affordable spot to eat. John Lemansky said it ain't cheap to be a civilian. Todd Daggett says, yes, I never go downtown anymore because of price points. Kevin Higgins says, between the crime and the prices, there's zero chance I'm taking my family downtown ever. I'm not alone on this either. Kevin Higgins says the downtown mall is repeating itself. No, thank you. Chad Wood is also echoing the downtown mall resistance. John Lemassany says there's a $5 beer at Livery Stable the last time he was there. That's not too bad. Scott says, let's give a shout out to the women's soccer team that made it to the Elite Eight of the NCAA women's tournament with an overtime victory. Props, women's soccer team. Kevin Higgins says, I want to be an optimist for downtown Charlottesville, but cannot find a single thing going on that's positive there. I seriously think it's Chicago. Zero chance I'm taking my wallet downtown. It's headed to the late 80s. I hope that is not the case. Carol Thorpe says, Jerry, the fix has bid in for the name changing. The families of the Jack Jewett Middle School also overwhelmingly told them to keep the Jack Jewett name, but ignored retaining the Revolutionary War hero, opting for the name Journey instead. The surveys are nothing but a hollow, disingenuous dog and pony show meant to give the school system cover to check the box which says they polled the community. Carol, props. I'm responding to that. That might be my favorite comment today. Carol Thorpe is legit. I'm responding to your comment. Props. Truth. Period. Enter send. Queen of Jack Jewett herself, Carol Thorpe. Smart lady. South and Central is a great steakhouse. That's Janice Boyce Trevilian. That's in Dairy Market. That's a good call. South and Central is legit. Good call, Janice. That should be included in my steakhouse list. The Aberdeen Barn, South and Central, and now Black Cow. Good call. I'm responding to that. Janice Boyce Trevilian, JPT, this is for you. Let's go to Twitter. This is from Anonymous for Neil Williamson. Neil Williamson, if you're watching, this is from Anonymous. I love you, Neil Williamson. I'd give you a flying chest bump if you were here, Neil Williamson. Anonymous, the I Love CVille Network's version of Deep Throat, says, Neil's point raises an interesting related point. There is an intense focus on zoning, but zoning is only one piece of land use regulatory restrictiveness. It doesn't matter what zoning is if there are no building inspectors. Our zoning is actually pretty permissive. The inspection process, not so much. Good comment, Anonymous. I mentioned this live on air. Neil Williamson, did you hear that? I'm going to tag Neil. Neil Williamson. Comma, the I Love CVille Network's version of Deep Throat is giving you props right now. Enter publish, sent to Neil. I'll read it again. Neil's point raises an interesting related point. There is an intense focus on zoning, but zoning is only one piece of land use regulatory restrictiveness. It doesn't matter what zoning is. If there are no building inspectors, our zoning is actually pretty permissive. The inspection process, not so much. That's a damn good comment. That's right there with Carol Thorpe with best comment of the day. Sarah Hill Buchensky. watching the show. SHB, love when SHB watches the show. Chopping down red tape equals smaller government. Props, Sarah Hill Buchensky. Props. Good call. Enter publish send. Carol Thorpe responds to Sarah Hill Buchensky. Yes, but smaller government is not the modus operandi of Charlottesville city government. All the governments just keep spending money. Why can't we run a government and not expand our budget? Why can we not run a budget and say, you know what, we're going to keep the budget flat this year? We're going to do what Nelson County did and keep the overall total cost of spend this year down or flat. Why can't we do that, Judah?
It's not in our blood.
Why? Why? You know what? We're spending $400+ million a year to run Albemarle County. We're not going to raise it this year. We're going to keep it flat. Why can't we do that? You guys want that, Albemarle Countyans? Do you want that, Albemarle Countyans? Do you want to keep the budget flat? Do you not want your real estate taxes to be increased? Your tax rate? Do you want that, Albemarle County? All right, that's the Monday edition of this fine and fair talk show. We went an hour and 10 minutes without taking a break, a breath, or from stopping a conversation. You don't get long-form content like this anywhere else. Do you understand an hour and 10 minutes of talking at this level of volume and frequency without taking a break? Judah, can you put yourself back on screen? Are you on there?
And what?
Are you on there?
Yeah. Let me shrink your head a little bit.
Can I tell you something?
Sure.
You've been doing a great job. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm most grateful for my family at this time of year. And sir, you undoubtedly are family.
Thank you.
I have been blessed, we all have in the Miller family, to encounter Judah B. Wickower at the Lazy Parrot Grill roughly 11 years ago. That was a serendipitous interaction watching you doing graphic design on your iPad with a, what are those things called, a stylus?
Yeah, I guess.
Is that the stick that you use to do graphic design on an iPad?
Something like that.
With a stylus. That was serendipitous. I am grateful for you, sir.
Thank you.
The Monday edition of the I Love CVille Show. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Take care. I mean that. I'm very grateful for you. Seriously mean that. I won't tell you that enough. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm grateful for you. Nothing love you. I thought today's show was pretty strong. What did you think?
I thought it was good.
Good job.